Let's talk about Bill Cosby. Let's talk about you and me. Welcome, family. Greetings to the wonderful, infotaining, edutating edition of We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm your host for this empowerment segment, Brother Ron, also known as R2. C2H2, the Outages. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Thank you all for being very patient. I thank everybody for the well wishes. Get well soon, all that jazz. I kicked Omarion off the stage. Omarion was preoccupying my stage with Kanye. Kanye West, Mr. West, Kanye West. You know, just trying to get better, y'all. It's crazy out here. 2022 is a beast in its own way. We would survive 2020, survive 2021, but 2022 is a different animal in its own way. Okay, I was checking my value. I think everything good. One with 2022 is a different animal. Okay, that's great. Sometimes we're not in what do you call that, Mercury retrograde right now, but technology is kind of tricky. It's not always where you want it to be, but it is like, Memphis, we just went through a little ice storm thing back on last Thursday and Friday. Had some wintry remix. We had ice and we had some snow, which led to sleet. And what crazy is that a lot of people are still without power, which is weird. I'm blessed because of my location. I think I'm in downtown, near MLGW, that's Memphis Light Gas and Water's headquarters, near the Civil Rights Museum, near a lot of tourist attractions and the money, the Orpheum Theater, not that far from Beale Street. So we've been blessed. Our power have not went out, but I have friends who live in wooded areas. Trees fell down. A lot of trees fell all over the city over the weekend and surrounding areas, knocking out people's power lines. A friend of mine said one of her neighbors' homes caught on fire, and she was talking about all the trees falling around her folks' home, and they were staying in a hotel for the last several days. I guess they're checking out right now to go back home, and I don't think the power is on. So pray for the people. You go outside, and a lot of busy intersections of traffic lights are still out. This was yesterday. Going outside, you still got traffic lights out at very busy and important intersections in Memphis. But somebody was saying, well, maybe Memphis Light, Gas, and Water in the city of Memphis should invest in burying power lines. You still gonna have your problems because Memphis, we deal with flash floods. I know we above sea level and all that. We're on a bluff, but the way the streets are constructed is easy for these streets, like Popular, one of our main streets. It can flood easily, flash flood, whatever. So regardless if you got them in the air, the power lines, you deal with wind, you deal with all types of elements, they can still be touched by acts of God. So it's very humbling to know that, we don't really appreciate the creature comforts we have until we don't have them no more. But I want to talk about the Bill Cosby mockumentary. I'm gonna call it a mockumentary. It's not a documentary, it's propaganda to me, but it was well worth watching. It's must-see TV, and it's a lot of sorcery and trickery going on. When Eddie Griffin was on Vlad TV, Vlad, then TV several years ago, he said a thing about, because people love quoting black folks off of Vlad, whether it be Eddie Griffin or Little Boosie, about rappers getting knocked out in their own cities. I mean, really, people get killed any and everywhere. Ain't no such thing as one place is more eviler than another place. That's just BS. But Eddie Griffin said a black man won't leave the business. We talking about the entertainment business without an asterisk next to their name. Like, you can't leave it clean as a black man. They're gonna have to do some type of scandal and attach it. It's gonna be in your obituary in the New York Times. You're a black man of note. LeBron, pay attention. LeBron, pay attention. They won't let you leave this thing clean because they dirty. But he was talking about in reference to Bill Cosby. And I saw the documentary over the weekend, or the mockumentary, or whatever it is, and made some observations, which were very interesting. You could tell that Kamau Bell, his name Kamau Bell, him and his handlers had an agenda, and it was well produced agenda, because they're trying to act like they weren't biased. You know, they presented some of Dr. Cosby's history, not telling the whole thing, but some of it, to put it in some type of context, right? They talked about a little bit of his history, because the thing about it is they don't want to give him too much credit for actually contributing, for doing his thing. Now, you know, Bill Cosby compared himself to being like the Dick Gregory of Philadelphia. Bill Cosby was a very close friend to Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory provided the blueprint for Bill Cosby's and the Richard Pryors and all the people to follow. You know, he did the Jack Paar show, sat on the couch. You know, he started that tradition on the Tonight Show. You know, Johnny Carson will have a comedian do stand up. Then he'll invite him to the couch to talk, to get to know him a little bit better. Dick Gregory started that back in the day when Jack Paar was the host of the Tonight Show, or whatever they call it, you know. But Bill Cosby followed him. Dick left to commit himself to the movement full time. They touch on that. But Bill Cosby did his thing his own way. See, we don't really know the receipts on everybody. That's why, as I get older, I don't really criticize so-called celebrities and other folks in the limelight, because you have no idea what they're actually doing when the cameras are not rolling and all that other stuff. So I don't do all this kind of weird. As I get older, a lot of things that I might indulge in seems kind of weird and not worth it. Seems very counterproductive and counter-revolutionary. So they talked about Bill Cosby, saying he's the Dick Gregory of Philadelphia, because he's from Philly. And shout out to Mike, brother Mike from Real Black. He was interviewed. From my understanding, he was an intern on one of Cosby's shows back in the day. And him and Cosby had a connection because they both from Philly. And I think brother Mike went to Central High School like Cosby did at one point. And Cosby dropped out and went to Germantown. I think he dropped out of Germantown High School in the Philadelphia area. Then he got his GED, allegedly, according to the mockumentary. We need to talk about Cosby, right? But I say all this to say, like with the black stuntmen, like the way, Bill Cosby was the first. You're talking about Sidney Poitier being the first movie star. Nah, he wasn't the first black movie star, but Bill Cosby could make a case for Bill Cosby being the first black TV star as far as prime time, because he was one of the leads on I Spy, very popular show back in the 60s, right? So you could make a case, but then Cosby talked about how, where are the black stuntmen in? Because you got white dudes in blackface doing my stunts. Like, he actually saw that observation, and he demanded that they start hiring black stuntmen on his show. And then he helped with the organization, from my understanding, the first Black Stuntmen Association, like a union or organization that promoted the agenda of having black stuntmen in TV and movies in Hollywood. So they kind of shortchanged. They mentioned it. Even folks that call themselves being critics of Cosby did not know that history about him being involved and making sure that black stunt people were represented well in Hollywood. He started that trend. He's like the Jackie Robinson or whatever you want to call him, right? But they shortchanged him on that, because even a girl whose grandfather was a stuntman who benefited from Cosby's advocacy, she interviewed him for the Black Stuntman documentary, then cut him out because of allegations, not proven, but accusations and allegations. I thought that was very weak on her part. That show how weak she was. I mean, because the man took time for you. He invites you to his home to talk about his part in his history. And to me, Dr. Cosby didn't feel like he wanted to take a lot of credit for a lot of things he done correctly. But it's on the people to get those receipts and talk about it and make and inform the people about what Cosby done. Yes, he's a man. I'm a man, woman, man, whatever. We just human beings. We got frailties. We got flaws. We got vices. We got shortcomings. That's part of being human. It's an old saying. You should never want to meet your hero. You should never want to meet your heroes because they will disappoint you because they're human. They have nothing to do with them being so-called hypocrites or being contradictory, just being human. And human beings are made to disappoint. And because people can't always keep all their promises, like people got to die. We all got an expiration date. Sometimes things happen outside of our control that keep us from keeping so-called commitments or so-called promises. So life is about disappointment. But the thing about it, you manage your disappointment by stop putting all your, stop putting people on pedestals, man. Stop it. Nobody's better than nobody else in terms of being a human. We all got talents and gifts. Some of us may realize those talents and gifts while we're alive. Some of us may never realize that because we don't take chances. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't invest in ourselves. So getting back to Cosby, he got short chains on the black stuntman stuff, right? They didn't give him the actual credit that he deserves. Kind of like he played a little bit part, but now he played a major part in making sure that black professional stuntmen had jobs in Hollywood. And like I said, he prided himself being the Dick Gregory of Philadelphia, right? So Dick Gregory was his hero because he blazed the path, and they talked about that a little bit. But also with the Cosby thing, what is interesting is the so-called accusers that were interviewed for the thing. The so-called, Tom Mesereau, who was the lawyer for Dr. Bill Cosby, as well as Michael Jackson. He helped get Michael Jackson out for the last time back in 2005. But he was the lawyer for Dr. Bill Cosby. He sat down with with W. Kamau or Kamau Bell, whatever his name is, and his people to be interviewed for this docu-series. But they didn't show any of his stuff in the docu-series. They were highly selective about who they decided to let be a part of the narrative. And I noticed, before I get to the accusers, they're not victims because they have not been proven to be victims in a so-called court of law. They are still accusers to me because they did not make their case that they were raped or whatever, taken advantage of about Dr. Cosby. We're going to talk about this in this show. The way I'm going to talk about it will be different from what a lot of people have been saying per se. This is not about emotions. This is about logic. This is about, what Denzel said as Sergeant Alonzo Harris in the movie Training Day. Ain't what you know is what you can prove. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove. And folks get that twisted. As far as legal, people can do things. A murderer can be found innocent if the prosecution or the state does not make their case. It has nothing to do. Okay, he murdered those people, but can you prove it in the court of law? A lot of times you hear prosecutors like in the OJ trial say it's a slam dunk, and they end up losing the dang case, man. Because it's not a slam dunk. You gotta dot your I's and cross your T's, do the little things to add up to the big picture, right? So the people that were interviewed in the Cosby thing. First, let me start with the black males that were interviewed. I said black males. Let me put the emphasis, the black males who were interviewed for the Cosby thing. Like Brother Mike from Real Black, like he interned with Dr. Cosby back in the day. I know we talked about Bill Cosby and all this stuff this past summer. I saw him at the Tribeca festival. We both were invited to view the Dick Gregory documentary that premiered on Showtime last summer, but we viewed it at the Tribeca Film. They don't call it the film festival anymore, but had a chance to touch base with Brother Mike. Good people. He has his own thoughts about the Cosby situation and legacy. He actually worked with Mr. Cosby, or Dr. Cosby. He the parts they played in the Bill Cosby mockumentary. He didn't do bad, like to me, he wasn't being really hypercritical of Dr. Cosby. It's kind of like, he was putting things in historical context. So shout out to Brother Mike. I don't know what the stuff that didn't make the official series looks like from Brother Mike. Maybe they'll put it on a DVD extra, bonus stuff. But what I seen from Brother Mike, a Real Black, y'all know on YouTube, Real Black did a lot of prolific, phenomenal interviews with Baba Dick Gregory. He's part of the Baba's Chosen. He got cussed out. Dick Gregory cursed out people like he was a drill sergeant or something like that. But so he went through the fire, through the wire, and all that stuff. So he didn't say anything bad about Dr. Cosby. And also, shout out to Godfrey, the comedian. He used to be a warm-up comedian for the Cosby Show, one of the Cosby projects. I don't know which Cosby show. Okay, Dr. Cosby had several Cosby shows, but he kept it light but serious. But he didn't tear down Dr. Bill Cosby either. Shout out to Godfrey. I think he did a good job of doing a balancing act on that as well. But you get to somebody like Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, the one that Judge Joe Brown tore a new one this past summer about Dr. Bill Cosby. He had an agenda. He had an axe to grind. He took it personal with Cosby because some stuff that happened at Temple University where he taught it, and Dr. Cosby him had some choice words, or Dr. Cosby complained about him. Basically, he's trying to imply that Dr. Cosby was trying to stop him from getting tenure. And so he had an agenda. It was like he was like being objective about Dr. Cosby. He had an agenda based on his personal feelings and interactions with Dr. Cosby. Then you have Dr. Todd Boyd, so-called Dr. Todd Boyd. He's a goofy. He was on the Rick James documentary for Showtime. But Dr. Todd Boyd is an interesting dude to me because he was making fun of Dr. Bill Cosby's EDD, right? His doctorate in education. He said it wasn't a real one. I got a PhD. I said, well, Master gave you a PhD. It's good for you. But my thing is Dr. Bill Cosby done more of his EDD and his pinky finger. He done more of his pinky finger than you probably done all your life to try to help Black people. He put money behind what he did. He got actions. Dr. Bill Cosby reached a lot of folks with his advocacy for education, using his platform, whether it be the documentaries from back in the day about Hollywood and Black history and American history, whether it be Fat Albert or picture pages, come and get your picture pages, all that stuff, whether it be the Cosby Show, introducing folks to jazz greats like Dizzy Gillespie or Betty Carter or Carmen McRae or something like that. Jimmy Heath, who's from Philly, was also on there. Dr. Bill Cosby wrote the foreword for Jimmy Heath's autobiography. Jimmy Heath is the father of the late, great James Matumin. We lost Jimmy Heath 2 years ago, back in January. But Bill Cosby did a lot for Black people. Giving $20 million to Spelman. So Dr. Todd Boyd wanted to belittle his degree. F you, man. My mom just got an EDD, and my mom done a lot in the community in terms of grassroots advocacy, empowering our people, reclaiming our narratives when it comes to Black history in context of American history. So Dr. Todd Boyd up there, I don't know, he at USC or somewhere out in Cali, but he's a well-kept Negro. You can tell he's well-fed and well-pampered and kept. But, for him to belittle Dr. Cosby's accomplishments is really weird to me. Because whatever you may think about the man, you cannot deny his impact, his cultural impact, the last part of the 20th century, as well as moving into the 21st century. The dialogue that's being created around the injustice that's been following this Black man, this human being. So, and then Chris Spence, whatever the guy named, a comedian who couldn't make it as a talk show host and really ain't that funny. But he was talking about Beverly Johnson. But to me, the Black comedians, especially the Black male ones, got an agenda for Dr. Cosby. They talked about the Eddie Murphy situation. Eddie Murphy did that great thing he did in Raw. We talked about how Bill Cosby called him about the blue, talking about flim flam and all that stuff. And then Richard Pryor responded, "Well, tell him I said have a Coke and shut the F up and have a Coke and a smile or something like that." And then you talking about how like comedians like Earthquake talking about, well, Dr. Bill Cosby trying to cancel Def Comedy Jam, and then D.L. Hughley, they all got this animosity towards Cosby. It has nothing to do because he don't like your jokes, he don't like your comedy. So what? He's one person. So what? He don't like your comedy or jokes. These Black men act like women and feminine. I'm saying they in their feelings, overly emotional. Come on, man. Like he don't like your style. It is what it is. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield, Lucy Campbell didn't like Eddie Murphy either. They thought he was dirty. They said, man, your language too foul. But you got Lenny Bruce. I don't think Lenny Bruce could make it right now. You see how they doing Whoopi Goldberg, who's a Jew. Say doing Joe Rogan, who used the N-word. Lenny Bruce used to talk about that all the time in his acts. They used to arrest Lenny Bruce. Could Lenny Bruce make it today? And that's another story. But with Dr. Bill Cosby, the black males that were in that, documentary, they had an agenda. They had issues. Dr. Mark Lamont Hill had personal beef with Dr. Cosby. So it is what it is. And Dr. Todd Boy, he's a fool. He's a joke. He want to be Harry Edwards, Dr. Harry Edwards, but that's another story. He's a wannabe. Think he's funny, white man ice colder than, Cosby ice and all that stuff. But talking about the accusers. Now, I'm assuming that the women who were interviewed for this mockumentary, they actually testified at the Cosby trials about his character. But I think their character should be called into question, because it's like every single woman who was interviewed, they could not definitively say that Bill Cosby raped them. If you watch the 4 parts, just watch and listen to the women. They cannot definitively say that Dr. Cosby raped them because they can't recall for whatever reason. And also, look at what they say. In some way or form, Dr. Cosby, because y'all got this thing, they were talking about the Spanish fly joke he did back in the day. To my Spanish fly, he was on Larry King. Well, tell me about the Spanish fly, Bill. The Spanish fly. Oh, yeah, I know about that, Bill. Larry King so old, he fought in the damn Spanish-American War from 1898. God bless Larry King. Because I give him his props because Larry King defended Michael Jackson and Barry Bonds. I give him his props for being character witnesses for them. But all the women said that Bill offered them pills or alcohol. He might have mixed the alcohol, but he offered them the pills. He did not hide the pills. He offered them pills. He told them to take the pills. He offered them drinks, told them to drink the drinks, and they did. These grown women. And every single one of those women kept on coming back to Dr. Cosby. So if you had a problem with him the first time, if you was made uncomfortable waking up naked in a bed next to him, whatever, you can't recall what happened the night before, why you keep on seeing this dude? Why you keep on coming back? It's like when people talk about Miles Davis or something. Well, Miles Davis used to punch her and hit her with the trumpet. But why she keep on coming back? Because if I was Miles Davis, or if I'm hitting you with my horn, or not saying Miles Davis did, I'm just saying, if I was beating up on you and you keep on coming back, that means you must like it. I have met women that told me, Ron, I take drugs and alcohol because I do not want to be responsible in the bedroom for what happens to me. It's women that told me this. They ain't stupid. They ain't no dummies. A lot of our people have been through trauma, sexual traumas, men and women, but I have met women that would say, well, I use alcohol and drugs and so I could just be loose and not feel accountable or responsible. Why they trying to be intimate. I have met women who were well-educated who told me if a man did not fight her, did not put his hands on her, he did not love her. I met women like that. And these ain't like, ain't gonna say these all ratchet women. These women, very educated women, very accomplished professionally. They will tell me this stuff. But with the Cosby thing, the folks that were interviewed, the so-called, I'm gonna call them accusers, because they're not victims. They have been proven to be victims legally. They're accusing Cosby. Even though Cosby went to prison for almost 3 years, they still did not make their case. But this is what I'm saying. All the women said that Cosby offered them pill and alcohol, and they took it. He didn't force it on them. He said, hey, here pills, here drink. Why don't you take those? Make you feel better. And they did it. And some of these women admitted to, hey, we used to do that anyway. Take Quaaludes and alcohol. But here's the thing, they all keep on coming back to Cosby for something. Like the Playboy Bunny, Playmate, whatever, the one whose son, who Mick's son, who Mulatto's son drowned in the swimming pool because she wasn't watching him. She met Cosby several weeks later in a club with her, I don't know, a friend and a roommate, but it was another lady. And Cosby offered them pills and alcohol. He didn't hide the pills. He didn't put it in no drink. She said, just look at the mockumentary. She said he slid the pills next to the alcohol. He said, you should take it, make you feel better. Because she still was dealing with depression from losing her son in that swimming pool tragedy, right? So she took it. She said her friends were out of it. They was barely able to stay up. Cosby took them to a townhouse, yada, yada, yada. She was going in and out. It's funny how she can remember certain details, but she can't remember certain other details. So she said she's going in and out. She claimed that Cosby took advantage of her. Doggy style, whatever. I don't know. Force oral, whatever. Okay. I don't know. But, she said she don't know what. She felt like she'd been raped. Then she say doggy style. I mean, people, know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. You kind of like, why you wait this long to talk about this stuff? Don't tell me all this other stuff because he was so powerful. He's a black man in America. Just ask OJ about that. White folks loved OJ too. Look what happened to OJ. But you keep on hearing the stories. Maybe like, okay, it was another story about Dr. Cosby going back to UMass to speak. He met this music student. She was aspiring to be a professional singer. Another white woman, right? She said Cosby promised her to make her get connections, help her get connections in the music industry. Bill Cosby was very well connected. He did music albums as well as comedy albums. He did music albums, I think, with Quincy Jones. Did stuff, and so he had connections. So the girl went with him. She also, I think, took some pills, got drunk, and woke up weird, and she felt embarrassed that she went to sleep on Dr. Cosby, and she woken up with her clothes all disarray or maybe off. I can't really recall all the details, but once you watch the documentary or mockumentary or whatever, and you figure out there's a pattern going on here, with the woman. Okay, she says she don't know what happened. She actually apologizing to Cosby and all this other stuff. Then she come back several years later. Now I don't think Dr. Cosby connected her with anybody in the industry, but she comes back several years later, she get drugged again. Like she take the drugs and the alcohol, whatever, and this time she wake up, she naked, whatever. I mean, why you come back? If you felt uncomfortable the first time, if something weird went down, you don't know what happened, why would you put yourself in that predicament again, especially several years later? Or like the greeter in Reno, that Cosby, the white girl, he gave her something. She came up. Cosby said he was having a pizza party, allegedly invited her and her friend, or a friend was invited to this pizza party that Cosby was having. And she brought her along, the greeter, right? And the greeter took some stuff that Cosby, he gave her pills or some drugs, whatever. She took it. Next thing she knows, she woke up the next day butt naked in the bed next to Cosby. And she's apologizing to Cosby, allegedly. And Cosby doing, don't tell nobody. Don't ask, don't tell, And my thing is this. I think Cosby would not have a problem from some of these women if he actually, I guess, tried to deliver. I don't know, like you look at the music student. Maybe if he just made a phone call to Clive Davis right quick and put on the phone with Clive Davis, maybe she wouldn't feel so like disrespected or used or discarded. But that's the nature of the beast, though. Cosby ain't the only person to do that type of stuff. If he did it, nobody's a saint. I'm not saying Cosby's a saint. I'm just saying the women that were featured in the documentary could not prove that they were raped by Cosby. They can't recall. They feel, but do you know? It's not about how you feel. It's do you know? Feelings is what you know and what you can prove, right? So if you don't know, you can't say that he raped you, even though you might have waked up naked on the couch or in the bed, feeling kind of weird. Why put yourself in that situation? Why go to Mike Tyson's hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning, talking about we're going to study the Bible, do some Bible study? Who's going to be doing some Bible study 2 o'clock in the morning in a hotel room? Okay, so I'm just saying, don't put yourself in situations where you can be compromised like that. And don't keep on doing it over and over again. Then you want to blame Cosby because you allow yourself to be put in that situation. And this is not blaming the victim. It's about having common sense. These women are not stupid. But I think with the greeter, I think that was a one-time occurrence. But she, you know, I think her problem was that she probably wanted to be Cosby's mistress or something. She probably been cool making him a whole family of Obamas. And Cosby probably said he blew it out. It was like maybe a one-night thing for Cosby, you know, because he got around according to the industry, like Tupac. But you know, maybe she wanted to be, oh, I want to be your mistress. She could have, I want to be your lover. You know, have him some Obama kids and stuff. That's why I look at all these women. Okay, the one, it was another girl who's a teacher, lady. She was a model, and she thought Cosby gonna take her to the next level, right? You know, the woman whose husband came on there being a simp on the mockumentary, a simpish dude. You know, I'm staring by my woman and, you know, simping up to, are you the strongest woman I know, baby? But anyway, no, she went to Cosby. You know, she was very attractive back in her time. I guess Cosby didn't deliver, but, you know, she went to Cosby. I think she drank some alcohol. I don't know if she took any pills, whatever he offered her stuff, they're supposed to get her loosened up. And I think she went to him a couple of times. And then the next time we'll see Cosby, she'll bring along family or friends. You know, when Cosby invited her to an event or to his show, she'll bring her mom or somebody along because she didn't feel comfortable being alone with Cosby. My thing about this, if he raped you, how come you keep on coming back to him? And also, you know, bringing him around your family and friends. If you feel like he's such a monster, why can't you keep on taking advantage? You know, he come in town. Oh, we're going to dinner. I'm gonna bring my mom and them along. I just don't understand how he raped you. Why are you gonna be around a person who demeaned you like that? You know, what type of Stockholm syndrome stuff is this, right? Keep on coming around. It means you want something from him, and you was disappointed because you never became that superstar. You didn't become the next Tyra Banks, okay? And that's what that's really all about to me. Because, you know, he said he was going to do something. He didn't come through. It was like with R. Kelly. You know, they all want to be the next Aaliyah. You just ain't Aaliyah. You're not even Sparkle. Even Sparkle and Niece couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. You know, these people looking for stuff. It's all good when Bishop Eddie Long was paying them young men off. When he'll give them money to go to Europe on vacation, expensive cars. Soon as he cut them off, that's when there's a problem. Not justifying Bishop Eddie Long's lifestyle with the Longfellows, but I'm just saying sex, scandals, and money go hand in hand. Sex and money go hand in hand, right? The more powerful or popular or famous you are, the bigger the so-called sex scandal. The bigger the sex scandal. So like with, you know, Cosby, the model, yeah, she wanted something from Cosby. She didn't become a supermodel. She became a teacher. And she probably was pissed off about Cosby not really helping her like she thought he should have, because her model agency connected her with Dr. Cosby. And like I said, Bill won't be the first, and he won't be the last, nor was he the first to mislead people, I guess, about making them into stars. It's called the casting couch mentality, right? I have a friend or a classmate from college. She went out to Hollywood. She wanted to get into the movies and whatnot, directing. She actually had very powerful connections, like her people, father, mom, uncle was George Kerr, all well-connected people in the industry, right? But she kept on saying, I saw her at her birthday dinner for her 25th or 26th birthday. And she was saying, I said, so I thought, you know, we talked about some of her career moves she was making. And I thought you was out in Cali. And she said, nah, I came back east from because although I had connections, like everybody's want to sleep with you, get a little bit something, you want to get ahead, you got to sleep with certain people. And I said, I was not going to do that. So she went back, got a doctorate in media studies. Now she's a professor, doing pretty well for herself. But she made a choice. She could have been like the other women, or I'll take the pill, I'll take the drink, but say, no, I got self-respect, I got pride, I got knowledge of self. I'm going back home to get my education. and put myself in a position where I don't have to compromise my integrity. And I'm not passing judgment on nobody, but I'm saying if she was able to do that and she had connections, she said, I don't want to sleep on that couch on your bed or whatever. I'm going back home and get my education to further myself. And it worked out for her. So everybody make choices. Choices have consequences. So, like, you know, I got all the women that were highlighted in that Cosby stuff that Bell did. They all had an axe to grind with Cosby. They were bitter women because their careers didn't take off like they wanted it to. Like, even you look at the man, I could keep on going down the list. They all keep on coming back. So is he raping you, or you just loving was that good? I don't know. But like, even the actress that was in the Cosby show, the one who played a pregnant woman, and Cosby was an OBGYN, whatever, she claimed that Cosby raped her. My thing is, why are you still working with Dr. Cosby if he raped you? Why not go to the police instead of going to the studio? Why are you able to work with this guy to shoot his sitcom? He made you so uncomfortable, you willing to work, but she looked crazy and deranged when she was acting. Talking about milk, or some whatever the hell she was saying. She looked like she'll cut, like she'd be a Lorena Bobbitt that she'll go post on you. The way she was looking in the TV show with Cosby, but yet she claimed that was after Cosby raped her. Why you keep on coming back? So he's a rapist, yet you was willing to, you know, get put on by a rapist, right? You was willing to get a check. You was willing to be in his show. That don't sound right. Something's wrong mentally with a person. I mean, but like I said, all of them kept on coming back. It sounded like all of them, was maybe some exceptions, kept on coming back to Cosby for something. They all wanted something. I guess because she ain't become a household name like Lisa Bonet. So I guess they got an axe to grind. Even like the model that played the police officer in the Cosby Show for one of the shows, right? One of the episodes, she talking about how Cosby invited her back to have lunch with her in his dressing room. That a white man, I guess it was Cosby's pimp, led her to the back the first time, and the second time Cosby came, and she felt uncomfortable because Cosby did a actor's exercise where he got behind her and they acted as a mirror or something like that, try to mirror her movements and stuff. And she said that made her uncomfortable. But my thing is, why were you still on the show if he made you uncomfortable? Why did you get a check from the Cosby Show? Why did you go back into his dressing room twice? They didn't force you. She could have left. She could have stormed out the set, but she decided to go back there twice. So just because he made you uncomfortable, did he rape you? He didn't rape you. You just said he stood behind you, mirroring your movements or something like that. He didn't pull his penis out like allegedly like Louis C.K. or anything like that and disrespected her. He gave her, treated her to lunch twice. And I guess was trying to give her some advice. But so he raped her because he gave her some lunch and was doing some actor exercises with her that made her uncomfortable because maybe she wasn't a great actress to begin with. So I guess because her career didn't work out, it's Cosby's fault. It's like even when the Chris Spence guy, is it Spence or Spence? I don't know that. Not so funny comedian dude. He said he played golf with Beverly Johnson. And Beverly Johnson was discredited by her own manager at the time because she claimed that Cosby tried to rape her at his home in his brownstone. But her manager at the time said that Beverly Johnson only met Bill Cosby one time. That's what they had. She had brunch with him and his wife, Camille. That's what her manager said. Y'all can easily Google this stuff up. Her manager said that, she only met Cosby one time. And they had brunch, and she had brunch, and Camille was present. Dr. Camille Cosby was present. So that's interesting, right? But Chris Spence, whatever his name, Spencer or Spence, I don't care. He said, well, I believe Beverly Johnson. At first, I didn't believe it, and I believe Beverly. Well, her own managers don't believe her at the time. Take a look. It's all online. Then you bring up clips of Janice Dickinson. She already been a proven liar. Industry. Man, she for the streets. She for the industry, man. She been a druggie. just a degenerate, according to her own words and testimony. But yeah, she lied on Cosby. And you using that as proof. And people in the documentary called this man a rapist. They didn't prove their case. They didn't prove their case. He was railroaded, but they never proved he was a rapist. It's like when people like, I mean, when Tasha K was saying Tupac was a rapist. They didn't prove that in court. He didn't go to jail for being a rapist. You could easily look that up. But Tasha K, and you see what happened to Tasha K, you gotta come correct with this stuff. But it's weird, man. It is so strange. Because even the black defense lawyer dude, to my Cosby, undermined himself. He told his truth in the deposition. The powers that be look bad. They look very unethical and corrupt. Cosby was transparent. He talked about how he got the Quaaludes as a prescription from his doctor. And it was a party drug that he would offer people. And the women who were interviewed for this documentary, they all said that Cosby offered them the pills and the alcohol. He didn't hide the drugs. Y'all like, this man is just a monster. They even call him a monster in the thing. He offered them the pills. They, through their free will, took the pills at their discretion. He didn't force it on them. They took it. He just put it out there. They took it. So that's what he said, basically. He never said, I drugged the woman. He said, I offered it as a party drug. Prescribed from on the Quaaludes, prescribed by his doctor. To me, he didn't do anything but tell his truth. They promised that he would not, his words would not be used against him in future prosecution. And they lied. I remember reading years ago that they even emailed him those words, that, you know, what he said in his deposition would not be used against him in any future cases. And it was the DA at the time that told the girl to do a civil suit. See, them devils were never in Cosby's best interest, because the folks he, did a deposition for, the DA at the time told the girl, you should sue Cosby, do a civil suit. He put that in her ear. Even though the police did an investigation, they couldn't find no proof that Cosby did anything to that woman, Andrea Constant. And they had to use the testimony of people that we saw in that mockumentary. If you haven't seen it yet, go see. We need to talk about Cosby. And they couldn't prove that Cosby raped Amita. They can't recall. They don't know. They assumed, but yet they kept on coming back to Cosby, wanting more goodies. And then Mark Lamont Hill, they were trying to further character assassinate Cosby, like he was lying about trying to buy NBC. He was trying to buy NBC back in the day. There's a New York Times article. Y'all, it's weird. I be talking to people that they call themselves new black media, or people that know they knowledgeable. They say that's an urban legend. No, it was true. It was true. There's a New York Times article out from the 90s that talked about him trying to buy NBC with a group, not by himself, but with a group of people. That CNN president that's got fired, right? Zucker. He was a mortal enemy, from my understanding, of Dr. Bill Cosby. He made it his mission to destroy the legacy of Dr. Bill Cosby. And look what happened to him. He was a guest in Cosby's home, and Cosby kicked him out. And then Zucker, whatever the guy named, they got fired for improper relations at the job. He made it his mission, from my understanding, to destroy Cosby. And white folks been making it their mission to destroy Cosby for a long, long time, because he one of them Negroes that don't know his proper place. But he did try to buy NBC. I met what's his name, Casey Werner, one of the people that helped produce and create the Cosby Show. I met him during Dick Gregory's wake. He gave me his phone number. I'm trying to find his phone number, because he's been awfully quiet. But he, was a part of that group. I believe they were trying to buy NBC at that point. Then, they talked about Ennis being killed, but they don't talk about, I'm talking about in the mockumentary, but they don't talk about, there's not that long after how Autumn Jackson came out and said she was Bill Cosby's love child around this. I mean, it's bad timing. Autumn Jackson, accused Bill Cosby of being her father, and her mom is one of Bill Cosby accusers. Her mom, because I think her mom was in that picture. How they took a picture of all the accusers. They ain't gonna call them victims, the accusers. And I think Autumn Jackson's mom was a part of that picture. But Autumn Jackson came out talking about she was Bill Cosby love child and all this stuff. And I think the DNA test, I don't know what happened with that. I don't think she was, but she kind of looked like Cosby's daughters. I don't know, but it is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, they didn't talk about a lot of stuff they should have talked about. If you're gonna call yourself a documentary, you should have talked about that in a proper way. About the Autumn Jackson allegation, about him trying to buy NBC. That stuff, it actually happened. He tried to buy NBC. When his allegations came out with Dr. Bill Cosby, Hannibal Buress. Come on, man. It's a setup. Nobody know who Hannibal Buress is. And people still don't know who Hannibal Buress is. He's, just a non-funny, funny-looking black dude, black male. Hannibal Buress didn't have the power to bring down no Cosby. That was a setup. Because in 2014, Cosby was about to doing tours, about to get back on TV, Netflix specials, and all that stuff. He had all that lined up. And the reason why they brought him down is because they want his land. Because why didn't the mockumentary talk about Kinder Morgan trying to put a pipeline on Cosby's property and how they were environmentalists and land conservationists, and they stood with the land conservationists and the environmentalists and said, we do not want a pipeline built on our land. We want to conserve the land for future generations. They were very vocal. Him and his wife, Dr. Camille. Dr. Camille Cosby wrote an op-ed that was published back in March of 2014. That let the powers that be know that the Cosby stood with the people in protecting the land. Dick Gregory would say, why don't you get the public records? He got more oil on his property than Kuwait. So, Dick Gregory was a very wise, cantankerous old man, but he had a lot of sense. And common sense ain't coming no more. But Dick would say, look, man, it's bigger than what y'all think. It ain't about no pussycat. Y'all think society cares about women? No, ain't about no women. It's about an agenda. But they wanted Cosby land. His family, his wife and him owe a lot. They own a lot of land, a lot of acres of land, right? So by the end of the year, guess what happened? The allegations started coming back up of him allegedly raping women. Then these court cases trying to drain his wealth one way or the other. They trying to get that money one way or the other, trying to break him where they will force him to sell land off, property. And then you got the fact that the government can eminent domain your property at any time. So Bill Cosby is making this gallant stand. And our folks think about he's a monster, he's a rapist, but whereas like innocent until proven guilty. Black folks were the worst offenders because y'all mad about him about the pound cake speech. About pound cake. I don't agree with nobody getting shot in the back over pound cake. I remember years ago in Memphis, a security guard killed a dude over $1 candy bar. He shot the dude, killed him. And it always bothered me. I remember that story like it was yesterday. I'm saying, like, if the dude was going and stole $1 candy bar, he must have really been hungry, man. Where's the compassion? Where's the empathy? You kill somebody over $1 candy bar. Now, it's not justifiable, but Cosby at that point in 2004, Cosby was upset. He was disillusioned probably. He said, I put all this money and effort into try to uplift my people, and we still nowhere. And we talking about some Brown v. Board anniversary because he did it at the NAACP Brown v. Board. I think it was the 50th anniversary celebration. And he just talking about how Black America we were not where we needed to be as a people. But the thing about it is, Obama would say stuff like that at Morehouse to Black men graduating like they were criminals. Like, you pull your pants up and all this. I mean, Barack Obama was doing the same moral lies and all that. Jesse Jackson was caught on the hot mic when Obama was running for president, trying to, talk down to Black men on Father's Day. Black men pay more money in child support than any group in the whole country. Judge Joe Brown let you know that. My uncle will let you know that Black men pay more in child support than any other group. Some of the best fathers are Black men. But when Jesse Jackson cut his balls off, and then people get mad at Jesse for telling the truth, Obama, he'll browbeat down Black people. But you got somebody like Robert Smith who said, I'm gonna help them brothers at Morehouse get a clean start, a head start. I'm gonna pay they student loans off. And not only that, he's doing a lot of other work with HBCUs. But watch out, brother Robert Smith. They came for him too a couple years ago. Anytime you're trying to help black folks, they'll come for you, and they'll use your own people to come against you. So when you try to help black people, they'll come for you, and they'll also use your own people against you. So this is what Cosby did when he helped a lot of people. People like Cosby said, people think Cosby turned his back on black folks after that pound cake speech. He put a lot of money into HBCUs, historical black colleges and universities, sent a lot of black folks to college, put a lot of money and investment in black culture. He even helped Spike Lee. Spike Lee all bitter about, he said, he stole my idea, the idea for different world from me. Because Spike Lee did School Days, but did not Bill Cosby help you raise money or gave you money to complete your magnum opus, some would say, the Malcolm X biopic? Bill Cosby gave Spike Lee money to complete it when the studios cut his budget. There were people like Bill Cosby, I remember Janet Jackson, Oprah Winfrey, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Black folks came together to help Spike Lee to complete that, and he got all these venomous words to say about Bill Cosby years later. Everybody, when it rains, it pours. Everybody want to dump on you when they could dump on you, right? So, yeah, different world had black folks motivated to go to college. I used to love watching Different World. I went to college. I didn't go to HBCU, but by watching that show, it put me in my mind the value of getting the education, getting advanced education. And a lot of black folks, decided to go to school, from my understanding, based on that. And like the thing about it, people say, well, the Cosby Show was not a realistic depiction of black life. There are black elites like that. But it's not all black people, right? Of course, but there were black elites like that. But it's television, it's fantasy land, it's programming. But would it be nice for black folks to aspire to be well off, to be professionals? And like somebody said in the mockumentary, what was good about it is that black folks were allowed to, I'll say this, I don't think they said it like I'm going to say it, but black folks were allowed to be themselves and have potential and to fulfill their potential and not worry about money being an obstacle. That what made the Cosby Show so wonderful, that it was a black show uplifting black folks, and they couldn't, and they didn't have to worry about having lack of money or resources in order to live a certain type of life or status. But the Different World really reached black folks, and and wanted us to get up, get out, and get something. So that alone, Cosby did a lot to help the black image, and not only Hollywood, but also in America and around the world, the black American image. Because I remember I interviewed Eric Monty, who was actually the guy behind Coolie High. Coolie High is based on his life growing up in the projects in Chicago. That's Eric Monty, the guy who actually created Good Times, wasn't Norman Lear. It was him and the first Lionel that created, like, I think, Good Times. And he also had the idea for the Cosby Show years before it became out on TV. I interviewed Eric Monty several years ago. And Eric Monte is a real soul survivor. I don't know if he's still around. I think he's still around. But he's been through a lot of heartache and tragedy, a lot of health setbacks and stuff like that. One point he was living homeless on Skid Row out in L.A. I think he's in Chicago, in his hometown, Chicago now. I'm not sure. But I interviewed him. He had, been a survivor of strokes and I believe heart attacks. So it was kind of hard for me to understand what he was saying. I know I had to be patient and listen. But basically, this brother was trying to warn black people about Hollywood's agenda to destroy the black image, the black man image, as well as the black family image. He took on Hollywood. People forget he sued Hollywood. He sued Norman Lear. And he could not find a lawyer to represent him because all the lawyers are all tied in because they ain't want to burn no bridges, right? So he couldn't really find no lawyer to represent him. I mean, he tried to tell Jesse Jackson and NACP they wasn't hearing it. NACP destroyed the career of Stephen Fetchit, who was the first black movie star, who was the first black millionaire actor. Even Dr. Bill Cosby said in one of his documentaries back in the day. But his image, his portrayal of black people was problematic, but really it represents the history of America, because our black pain is white profit, is white joy. Our pain is their joy and profit. The entertainment industry has always been built in this country on mocking black people. It's built on that. So Eric Monty went through all this stuff. He won his case. I think he got $1 million, but he made a couple bad investments and ended up destitute. That's how he ended up on Skid Row, because I think he invested in the play. It flopped and some other things, and he had, health issues, but he took the time to speak with me about his life. And I just wanted to give the elder his props, man, because a lot of us don't know the story of Eric Monty. If you love Cooley High, that's his life story he wrote. He actually hitchhiked to Hollywood. It took him a couple years to get to Hollywood, but he got there. And the rest is history. But they'll do you like that. Because Cosby wanted to buy a network to help control how the black image was received by the general population. And Malcolm told you the importance of controlling our media, of having our media, of telling our story, not always being reactionary, but being proactive in telling your stories. Because if you don't tell your stories, you will always be the marginalized character. And, the reason why I can say this about Dr. Cosby, I don't know the man like that. I actually had a chance to talk to him this summer for about 30 minutes. It was amazing to talk to Dr. Bill Cosby this past summer. I have a unique life. I never thought I would ever talk to Dr. Cosby in my lifetime. Really didn't. But we've been talking about Dr. Cosby and this stuff since 2014. Been very supportive. Baba Dick Gregory, other folks, Shahrazad Ali. But Dr. Bill Cosby talked about the importance of telling our story. There were a couple of things he talked about. The importance of family starts in the home. You never thought this man went through the hell he went through the last 4 or 5, 6 years. Because he sounded like the same old Bill Cosby that was all about getting our education, investing in the family and all that stuff. Because his father was not around. He was raised by his mother. Bill Cosby from the projects. So don't act like he don't know. But the thing about Cosby, he's been famous for so long. I mean, he's been famous since the 60s, man, over 50 plus years. So, I mean, he's been removed from that, his humble upbringing in the Richard Allen projects in Philly. But his story was family starts in the home. He said that. He told us, me and Kara Danger was on the phone with his publicist. Starts in the home. He talks about, he'll tell a little bit about history. He was funny. But I can see how people could be intimidated by Bill Cosby. He'll say some stuff, try to get, some sneaky stuff and all that stuff. But I don't take it personal. But the thing about it was a joy. I got a chance to thank him because I said, because he brought up the pound cake speech. But I said, Dr. Cosby, people will bring up the pound cake speech, but I remember this when I was in college. They're going to forget what you did. 3 years before the pound cake speech, you was one of the first celebrities to boycott Cincinnati for police brutality. You knew Black Lives Matter before it was a slogan, before it was a catchphrase, before it was some type of weird alphabet organization. George Soros funded. Bill Cosby canceled all his concert dates in Cincinnati because of police brutality, how they were treating black people, in particular black males. And Bill Cosby said enough is enough. I think Whoopi Goldberg and some other people followed his lead, but he canceled business. He said, we need to boycott Cincinnati. This is Dr. Bill Cosby back in the early 2000s, 2001. And I remember reading about him doing that. I was going to school in St. Louis, college in St. Louis, WashU. And I remember reading about that in the St. Louis American. I said, dang, Dr. Cosby, wow, he's really standing up for us. But then all y'all talking about is the pound cake speech. Y'all throw the baby out with the bathwater. No, all the stuff he did good over the years, the institutions he invested in, black institutions, helping to promote being a great ambassador of black culture, black American culture, the positive aspects of it. And y'all reduce this man's legacy down to a pound cake speech. And I know he has remorse about that, how he came off, but he was just frustrated like Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory cursed people out, and you gotta understand this man literally put his life on the line. He sacrificed his family, he lost good friends, he lost a lot of money. So to see before he died that shit ain't really changed, it's really disappointing. I don't care what nobody's people talking stuff changed. I'm like, Yeah, it changed, but is it for the better? I mean, I would tell people right now, one of the books I'm reading is William Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse. That book is crazy and it's like amazing because that book came out 30 years ago almost, and it predicted the future. We living Behold a Pale Horse. Right now, we are living Behold a Pale Horse. That book by William Cooper. They took William Cooper out of here. Dick Gregory was friends with William Cooper. William Cooper, Dick Gregory told William Cooper's wife, I believe, they gonna get him. And not that long after September 11, right? He got killed in the shootout with law enforcement out in the Southwest. William Cooper. This guy was naval intelligence. He had high security clearance. They killed him in a shootout. I won't say back in November 2001, but William Cooper is the father of all this in terms of Alex Jones, and he wouldn't have no career without William Cooper. But I don't think William Cooper trusted Alex Jones in the end, though. But it is what it is. But with Dr. Bill Cosby to be reduced to a speech, and then to say that he's a rapist, the case was not proven. They had to bring in folks like the women that were featured to make it strong for Andrea Constant. And then, like the first trial, they didn't want to find Cosby guilty. They manipulated that. That case should never happen. That the trials should have never happened. Gross miscarriage of justice. And they did the right thing by releasing them. But you got Carolyn Bryant, the woman who lied on Emmett Till. She's still alive. She's in her 80s, living her life out on her terms. They talking about in the Congress talking about giving Emmett Till mama and Emmett Till a medal. They've been dead. Mama been dead for almost 20 years. Emmett been dead for Emmett been dead for 60-something years. You talking about some medal. No, drag that woman out of her home in North Carolina and put her in a prison where she can die. Die in disgrace. Black folks kind of strange. Y'all mad at Joe Rogan. The way y'all mad at Joe Rogan, y'all should be mad at Joe Biden the same way. Joe Biden did worse things to black folks than Joe Rogan ever did. Yeah, y'all love Joe Biden. Y'all mad at the wrong Joe. And y'all mad at the wrong Bill. Y'all talking about we love Bill Clinton, all the stuff that he connected to. But y'all mad at Bill Cosby. It was a black woman, a bald-headed black woman in the mockumentary. I hate Bill Cosby. I don't even know if she ever met Bill Cosby. She just hate him. I hate Bill Cosby. These people, all this venom. And then I hate it when people say Bill Cosby cheated on his wife. You don't know what type of arrangement him and his wife had. Camille, you don't know if they swingers. You don't know what's going on. But you in that business, a lot of times you're going to be some acts of infidelity. That's part of the, course. I ain't going to say, AC Green was a virgin until he got married, right? But, he was teammates with Magic Johnson. David Robinson was a virgin until he got married, and his numbers went down. Once David Robinson got him some pussycat, it's like his numbers went down. I don't know what, because David Robinson was the Amaral. The Amaral. David Robinson was running things, man. But soon he got some kitty cat. Stats went out the window. He's still a Hall of Famer, though. Still a Dream Team original. But but that it's part of the industry. Like, if you mess with athletes, a lot of them gonna hold around. Women should know that. You dealing with these high profile people, they got options. And why not take advantage of the options if you could take advantage of the options? I mean, power, like Henry Kissinger once said that power is an aphrodisiac. I don't see how Henry Kissinger is still alive, but he's almost 100 years old. And I think he's obese, but I don't see how he still be alive unless he's a clone or robot. But Henry Kissinger used to date supermodels back in the day. This is Nixon's, helper, Richard Nixon's man. But he used to date supermodels back in the day. So, I mean, power is an aphrodisiac. Bill Cosby was a powerful man, but he was not the man. You understand? Bill Cosby could have got touched. I mean, they could touch Fatty Arbuckle. Fatty Arbuckle got touched. Fatty Arbuckle was the most popular movie star of his era. He was making what be today's money, millions and millions of dollars a year. And then there was a woman dying in his hotel suite that brought him down. They accused him of raping the woman, but she had a kidney issue. I think kidney failure or something. But he had several trials. And in the last trial, the jury said they apologized to Fetty Arbuckle because they felt like he was railroaded. They felt like he didn't get a fair shake. He should never been tried. Even the prosecutor knew there wasn't enough evidence to try Fetty Arbuckle on murder, but it was done because the people perception, this big man, this big fat man was jumping up and down on this woman. And they know, she didn't die from Fetty Arbuckle. She died because she had a health issue that was neglected. The doctors failed to diagnose correctly. I think something with kidney failure or something. But Fetty Arbuckle did not commit murder, but it drained his money, fighting for his life, drained his money. And he was blackballed for years in Hollywood. And by the time he was about to make a comeback, he died. Probably died of a broken heart or exhaustion. He was probably exhausted, excuse me. But I'm saying, but he was on his way coming back, but he died. He celebrated the night before, and next thing you know, he was dead. All that struggling, man. But OJ. I just don't know. You can't name. It's weird with the OJ. I know OJ didn't do it. I always thought he was innocent. Timeline. The timeline. He couldn't, in no way he could have got on that plane on that red eye to Chicago and all that blood everywhere. And they hardly found any blood in his Bronco and all this stuff and weird stuff. And then the Rampart scandal where you have detectives setting up people, even the inspiration for Training Day for Denzel's character, Rafael Perez. Part of the Rampart scandal. A lot of these detectives were framing. Mark Furman was known for framing people, setting people up. So I don't believe OJ did it. I don't believe his son did it. I believe some other stuff going on. But the only person that they were looking at was OJ. And I remember when it all went down, like they said, well, OJ is not a suspect. Then what they said on the news. I remember like it was yesterday. OJ was not a suspect at the time, but yet they had him handcuffed by a tree. I said, so you telling me he's not a suspect, but what I'm seeing with my lying eyes is that he's handcuffed by a tree. So he must be guilty. Even on that Newsweek article cover, what Newsweek or Time, one of them, where they darkened up his image to make it look real sinister, like it's some Birth of a Nation, the original one. Oh, this is sinister darker. This darker did it. But OJ was not too long ago running through an airport full of white people, and they saying, go, OJ, go. Then he riding down the expressway, and white folks were posted saying, go, OJ, go. Let the juice go. Go, juice. Get loose, juice. Get loose, juice. So white folks love OJ. I remember when I was in Kroger's in Germantown, working as a bag boy, I used to be quiet when I take my lunch break because the white folks be angry as hell. Damn OJ, goddamn OJ. They were mad. Like, it's like they were betrayal. It's like it was a betrayal for them white folks. And it was a black guy that worked in the butcher shop. He'd be cracking jokes. They'd be cursing. They'll curse even louder. And this black dude was cracking jokes about them being mad about OJ. White folks love OJ. It's like it was like love them like they love their dogs. OJ made that girl family wealthy, Nicole Brown Simpson. And it's weird because you can't name me one. I can't think of one black man celebrity that's ever been accused of hurting white folks deliberately. Killing a white person. Can you name a black male celebrity outside of OJ in this country who's been accused of killing white people? It's like you can hardly find any examples of black cops doing what white cops do to black people. You can find no example of black cops doing it to white folks. Really hardly any examples. Now, I remember a couple years back, not that long ago, there was a woman who committed cop by suicide. This white woman, I believe it was in Louisiana. This black cop told her to stop. She charged him with a knife. Maybe she yelled the N-word, but she charged him with a knife. He shot and killed her. He said, why he couldn't wound her? No, they're not. No, shoot to kill. But he killed the white lady, and it was justified. But it's Louisiana. But it's all black folks getting killed by police in Louisiana. And they found dead and back of patrol cars with their handcuffs behind, hands cuffed behind their backs. And it was a self-defense. He got his hands cuffed behind his back. How the hell he gonna shoot himself? Or it's like with the Cosby thing. Oh, all the women, I came back again, but this time I brought my mama because I want to go. I wanted those free tickets to that concert. Da da da. He said he gonna make me a star. I didn't make a star. He just made me uncomfortable. So I guess he raped me because he raped my emotions. He raped me mentally or something. I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, even in this documentary, they did everything to protect the legacy of Hugh Hefner. Like, Bill Cosby allowed them women at the Playboy Mansion, like their Playboy bunny or their Playmate centerfold lady. She was Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner did all. I mean, Hugh Hefner was the blueprint for Jeff Epstein. We had underage girls there allegedly, all them freaky orgies they had at the Playboy Mansion. His young girlfriends he had at the end. But Dick Gregory is grateful because he really was the one who gave us Dick Gregory, because Playboy gave Dick Gregory his break. They also used to have Bill Cosby, connected to Playboy. They had a sister in the mockumentary who was like the first black Bond girl. She was a Playboy bunny. I don't know what her connection is to Cosby. She didn't say anything too bad about Cosby and all that stuff, but they show her because she was a Bond girl, right? She played opposite Roger Moore. But when when it was time to do her stunts, they used a white man dressed in drag or something with an afro wig and, his skin all blackened up. So it's just crazy how, it's insanity. That's why Bill Cosby was necessary, because he helped organize the Professional Black Stunt People Association. And Bill Cosby was black first at one point, them documentaries. And I remember watching a documentary on Red Fox, how he had a club with Bill Cosby. And he told Bill Cosby, man, take all that, radical stuff down here, posters of Malcolm X and Black Panthers everywhere. And Red Fox said, look, man, this is a business, man. I understand politics, but take all that. Malcolm X was good friends with Red Fox. They used to be running buddies back in the day. He used to wash dishes at a place called Jimmy Chicken Shack up in Harlem, So, I mean, Red Fox, he said, but take it down, man. This is this is neutral spot. We don't have time to talk about all this hot stuff, this politics. But yeah, it was like, on top of Bill Cosby, he still was talking about education, about family, family values. So, like I said, I'm not saying he's a saint, but I've been saying what I saw, you can't say he was a rapist. You got to do better than that, because women are like, I don't know what happened. This is my second time, fifth time. Even Andrea Constant kept on going back to Cosby. She kept on getting things from Cosby. He kept on treating her family and stuff VIP style. So I just think it's weird. Cosby's such a monster, but yet you can keep on coming back to Cosby and get stuff out of him. But he's a horrible person. But yet Uncle Sam is great. Thomas Jefferson's the best. We celebrate Columbus Day. Like Dick Gregory said, you celebrate. If the bank closed, that means you celebrate. So you celebrate Columbus Day. Or Native Day or Indigenous. This is weird. People are strange, man. But people are some weirdos. We are weirdos. It's on the spectrum. Just deal with the weirdos you can deal with. But W. Kamau Bell is like, to me, like Hannibal Buress. You ain't that funny looking, but not that funny. And your day will be coming. Because like Eddie Griffin said, no black man leaves without an asterisk. Like we even Barry Bonds, the joke that is the Baseball Hall of Fame. The only good thing I see come out the Barry Bonds thing is that nobody's gonna break their home run record for a while. You got the single season home run record and the all-time career home run record. Nobody's gonna break that for a long time. It's like Tom Brady. It's gonna be a minute for somebody to catch up with Tom Brady. Some of the stuff he put up there. And the interest is both Tom Brady and Barry Bonds with the same high school. Not at the same time, folks, but they went to the same high school. They both alums of the same high school. If I'm not mistaken. But I think I said enough. I mean, I think I said all the things I wanted to say basically about the Cosby situation. It's been on my mind a lot. But like, listen for yourself, watch it. I wouldn't, and you know, like I said, they left out Tom Mesereau whole interview. Did not put one. And to me, what the insult is that they was filming around the same time that Bill Cosby went home. They released him from prison and he went home. They sent a camera people to cover that. But my thing is, brother, you should have reached out to Bill Cosby and allow him a chance to defend himself. Maybe like, you know, make it a 5-part series where you had a 1 hour with Dr. Bill Cosby in his own words defending his point of view and talking about, you know, how he felt about the whole thing. To me, I think that would have been good because like the first episode did talk about a little bit about his, you know, his history, how he came to be in the national limelight and all that stuff, but they didn't tell all the things they could have told. But that would have been a great bookend. You know, y'all started the first episode talking about the origins of Bill Cosby, his origin story. Then the last episode could have been him, you know, defending himself or just speaking his mind about the whole thing. I think what Bill Cosby messed up at was that he didn't get in front of the story soon enough. Like, you know, Bill Cosby type of cat, he believed in investing in black institutions and black media. I wish he would have got behind some of us out here. People like Sister Nicole from Nicole's View. I mean, she actually went to the trial, to some of the trial. B1 Cosby supporter from day one. Interviewed Tom Mesereau. I believe she interviewed Tom. I know Gavin Richard just had his birthday. Happy birthday, belated birthday, brother Richard. His birthday was yesterday. The counselor. He had Tom Mesereau on his show several times. Very good interviews with Tom Mesereau. And Nicole actually interviewed Andrea Constant's boyfriend, who said that her mom was trying to frame and did frame Dr. Bill Cosby, right? She got a couple of things, but I wish they would have supported black media. Let me see my. And like the stuff I was doing on We All Be, interviewing Dick Gregory, Baba Dick Gregory, Shahrazad Ali, Sonia Sanchez, so many people, Judge Joe Brown, you know, all that stuff we did on We All Be. I mean, I'm a one-man show, but interviewing people to try to give the benefit of the doubt, he should have spent time getting his money to get behind that stuff. But I just think his counsel wasn't the best. You know, people could do what they could only know what to do at the time. But I just think that he should, I mean, if he had money to try to buy NBC, he should have been trying to buy or invest in new black media. So we could have told his story and got it out there to the masses. I know Dr. Randy Short talked about how he talked Dr. Cosby's camp to try to organize grassroots advocacy for Dr. Cosby, to try to get people like, you know, us, We All Be, and other like, you know, other bloggers and vloggers and new black media activists. They could have put money behind us to push his narrative. And Malcolm said this was a great criticism of so-called black media, was that we always reacting to what the white media says about us instead of us being proactive and putting our stories out there and our point of views out there and really pushing them. So I think, you know, Bill Cosby, if that was done correctly, he would not have spent a day in jail, because we could have swayed the court of public opinion. He was tried by a lynch mob mentality. Really, he was tried by a railroad. He was railroaded. You know, he never had a fair day, his fair day in court. Those trials never should have happened, period. And for folks to say, oh, they're glad that Bill Cosby went to prison based on that charade, that's crazy. Just like with R. Kelly, he in a way should be in prison right now. He beat it the first time, right? Why he in prison? And if he in prison, he should not be the only person in prison. Where are the enablers? That's weird stuff. You know, a lot of people like, you know, Women mad when he cut them off. I mean, he had women going to his mansion in their 30s getting taken care of by R. Kelly, allegedly. Getting shopping sprees and just weird stuff. People strange as hell. And people wonder why I just be by myself most of the time. Strange. Strange. But I'm saying, like, R. Kelly's a monster. People like I looked at all of we need to talk about Cosby, right? But I only saw one episode of Surviving R. Kelly because it was a joke. It's like I might revisit it. I haven't seen the Neverland BS either. It's like kind of weird to watch this crap. Because I remember when I was a kid, how the girls would brag. This is junior high and high school. The girls be bragging about going out with older guys in their 20s and 30s. Their family knew about it. You had the guys with the nice, souped up cars and the nice sound systems in the parking lot after school, been out of school for 10 plus years, got the parents outside, the teachers and the police. Nobody ain't saying nothing to them. And they picking up the girls, taking them to McDonald's Express, take them to the Mall of Memphis, to the Foot Locker to buy Jordans, and then bend them over. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Now you look at R. Kelly, they say he was going up to the high school, but why was he going up to the high school? Was not his music mentor, the teacher there to help him with his functional literate ass compose his music? I mean, he didn't have to go to high school to get the girls. They were bringing the girls to him. He the Pied Piper. They bring the girls to him. So he didn't have to go get the girl. They were bringing them. They were saying he should be the only one in prison if we're going to play this right. But he shouldn't be in prison right now at all, to me. It's weird because even what the DA was to solicit people to come, confess, come and tell us your R. Kelly. I mean, I don't know. It's like the Bill Cosby thing, man. It's like, just watch the mockumentary. Watch it. Ain't none of them women confirm that Bill Cosby, outside the crazy actress, I ain't gonna say she's crazy, but she act crazy. She has some crazy eyes. She claimed that Cosby raped her at his home, but yet she came back to the set and did his show. Even rehearsed her lines with Cosby. What the hell going on with people? How can I take this seriously? Folks said all the women ain't lying. Women lie. Men lie. Children lie. People lie. See, as a black man, I can't believe nobody 100%. Look, I'm in Memphis, man. This black men have been lynched for having consensual relationships with white women. Not that they raped the white. That was Ida B. Wells found out. Oh, these weren't rapes. These was consensual relationships between the white man. The black man and the white woman. And in some cases, the white man and the black woman. Here's a consensual. But yet these things have caused cities to burn. People to get killed over lies. And taboo. So they act like Cosby was the most powerful, this and that. Yeah, whatever. Was Cosby more powerful than Norman Lear, who made Eric Monty disappear? Who career Cosby ended if he's so powerful? It was a whole bunch of starlets, and they used to have people jumping off the Hollywood sign that couldn't make it in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a famous story of a white woman that couldn't make it. You have people talking about Harvey Weinstein. Casting couch mentality. That's Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe had to go through it. Jean Harlow had to go through it. Don't be surprised the stars that you respect and admire didn't do it. Birds do it. Bees do it. Even Harvey Weinstein do it. Oh, man. But life is good, man. Life is good because and I'll read some reviews. Not even a lot of the reviews. They talking about, oh, this was a great documentary. This well done. No, it wasn't. It's like a lot of these movies they produce. They don't know how to tell stories. Kamau Bell Kamau Bell is a hack. He's a hack. He up here living a fraudulent life. Got him a white wife. That's all good. You know, marry who you want to marry, love who you want to love. Cosby got him a black wife. Been with her for 50 plus years. Black children. Invested in black people, and this is what it got him. It's like with Marion Barry. It's funny to me. You look at these horrible black politicians, so-called black politicians, black-faced politicians. They're up here stealing money, enriching themselves, and yet they want to make fun of Marion Barry, who cared about black people, who died with no money because he wasn't corrupt. Y'all keep on thinking that because he smoked some crack and he loved some pussycat, something wrong with him. Now he's a man. He had felons, but he loved black people. The reason why he got involved in politics was to finish the unfinished business of the movement. He thought he could help more people, in particular our people, through politics. Then it's all about protesting. And like all this marching that we like to do still in 2022. We still talking about voting rights in 2022. I'm an American citizen. Y'all worry about people that ain't citizens and got the right to vote, got more rights than you, to get more stimulus checks than you. Y'all crazy as hell. Y'all lost y'all damn mind. Y'all mad at Joe Rogan when y'all should be mad at Joe Biden. That's how messed up black folks are. But I don't know why. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but he's a hack, because I would respect him more if he did put Tom Mesereau, interview parts of it in it. Be more balanced. I mean, these people up here, it's a fear of black masculinity. We don't have a black patriarch. Even had Jamel Hill in there. I don't know why she was in there. Just little bits part. I don't know how long her parts were actually when they recorded or interviewed. I don't know how much he left out, but I'm just saying, like, they could have kept this Cosby thing, man. It was BS. All these missing black women. Why not do a docuseries about missing black people? Missing black women, missing black children. It would have been resources better spent than try to do a hip job on Bill Cosby. It's ridiculous, man. Then for folks, the so-called talking heads, to call this man a rapist, where's the proof? These women didn't prove. They just proved that they had an axe to grind with Cosby. Like the lady, the greeter from the Reno. I really believe that she wanted a relationship with Cosby. And he said, forget it. Forget about it. Or the one that wanted a singing career, or the one that wanted to be a supermodel, one that wanted to be an actress. They all had something they wanted for Cosby that for some reason didn't work out, and they bitter about it. Not because he raped them, but because he didn't give them what they thought they deserved to get. And this is what you get. That's like I said, I talked to Cosby for 30 minutes, man. Like it was surreal. Still, like he was like the person you never thought the last 7 years happened, the way he was talking. Still optimistic, wanted to get together with new black media. No, I just wish he invested in new black media earlier. I remember when Cosby was doing a thing with Blog Talk Radio when they had Syncast, or something. It was CINCH Cast, CAST, like some type of product of Blog Talk Radio. And Cosby was one of the first ambassadors for the platform. It didn't work out. Blog Talk's still around, but the Syncast didn't stay around. But Cosby was one of the first people on there. It's like he would have, got beyond trying to buy NBC or whatever and just build his own thing and have the tech nerds and gurus around him to build his own media infrastructure online. Could have had something that rivaled the Griot or any of those things. And I don't think it's too late. I just think that if he had did it earlier, he would not been in the situation that he found himself in the last several years. But like the documentary did not do, it did not show you. Now, Hannibal Buress, where is he at now? Where is Hannibal Buress? Exactly. It was Bill Cosby and them getting involved in trying to do land conservation and trying to stop the pipeline from being built on his property in the Northeast that really got him in the hot water. You know, they killed his son the first time. You know, they showed that commercial he did with Dr. J, because him and Dr. J own a Coca-Cola bottling plant outside of Philly, either inside Philly or outside Philly. They're part of a group that own a Coca-Cola bottling plant. You look at Bill Cosby and Dr. J in their commercial. You know, Dr. J's son died crazy too. You know, Bill Cosby's son died crazy on the 405. With that 405, they shot him as he was changing his tire. Then you have the thing where Dr. J's son went missing. He was on a run. He went to the store to buy some bread or something. That was having a party. Dr. J family was having a party. His son went to buy some bread. He disappeared. They found him at the bottom of a retention pond near a subdivision. And the crazy thing about it is they had security back there. So I don't know why and they did stuff with the pond. Why were they not able to find that car sooner with his body in it? That was strange. So you got, it go back to what my Jegna said, Mr. Emerson Abel Jr., nobody dies a natural death in show business. Dr. Cosby lost a daughter right before they put him in prison. I mean, he went through a lot of stuff. So, he's legally blind, health problems. So, I mean, whatever you thought Cosby made or did, nobody escapes karma. Nobody escapes, this world alive. We all gonna have things come on us, adversity, difficulties, tragedy. That's part of living. But it's not my place to put a judgment on Dr. Cosby because I wasn't there. I don't know. And nobody has convinced me that this man is a rapist. Now, is he a weirdo? Is he is he eccentric? Yeah, the best are weirdos. The best are eccentric. He's a comedian. He has a dark side. So you keep on talking about Spanish flies is akin to trying to accuse Joe Pesci of being a gangster because how well he played his part in Goodfellas. Oh man, you saw like in Goodfellas, he did this. He shot the dude in the feet and he hacked the dude to death. So is that Joe Pesci the man, or is he just acting a part? Like the Spanish fly thing was a joke that probably didn't age well. Okay, you reading too much. Like also when he talked about the episode of the Cosby Show, we had the barbecue sauce, and it was like the way they had set up the clips, it was implying that he put some drugs in the barbecue sauce. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to say, oh man, like art imitate life or life imitate art. I mean, come on, Pete. It's like everything looks weird after what we've seen over the last 7 years with this Cosby thing. So you could take every little word and all this stuff he did in his stand-up. But Cosby was one of the all-time greats, though. But it's like Seinfeld was on the Stephen Colbert show. They showed a clip of that where Seinfeld, his hero was Bill Cosby. That was his comedy hero. He think he's the greatest. And Stephen Colbert said, I can't listen to Cosby. He said, you can't separate the person. I mean, if that's the case, you can't listen to Elvis Presley. You can't listen to Jerry Lewis. You can't listen to Frank Sinatra. Everybody got their little dark side and vices and did some dirt. I guess you can't listen to nothing. You can't watch nothing. You can't watch no Earl Flynn movies. Earl Flynn would make R. Kelly like a choir board. I mean, it's kind of strange. People pick and choose what they want to do. I mean, they love Woody Allen, though. They'll defend Roman Polanski. They love Woody Allen. Woody Allen's still getting work. All these actors and actresses want to be in a Woody Allen movie because they could be nominated and win an Oscar. So people still love Woody Allen. So he got powerful protectors. And he started out in stand-up. He was one of the best. Woody Allen was one of the top stand-ups at one time. So now we need to talk about Black people not standing up for ourselves and reclaiming our narrative. That's what we need to talk about. So I guess I'm through. I think I talked enough about the Cosby thing. I think I said what I wanted to say. But I will encourage you all to watch it on your own terms. And think about what I said about the women, how they can't recall they were raped or not, with the exception of the actress. She claims she was raped in his home. Yet she went back on the job and got a check from his show. And rehearsed her lines with Cosby and said it the way he wanted to say it. It's just weird, man. It's like, just don't know what people, man. You don't know what people are capable of doing and doing to you. So you gotta be careful as much as you can who you let into your circle. But then betrayal only happens to folks that you love, that love you the most. I mean, you can only be betrayed by the people that you love. That's how betrayal works. It's the people that you love that hurt you, not the people that you don't, or strangers. Yeah, strangers can hurt you, but it hurts more when it's those that you love that do you dirty. And I hope that Dr. Cosby will do a documentary or something to talk about his point of view. I know he's probably hesitant because of possible lawsuits, or he probably dealing with laws. I don't know, but it is strange to me that Hugh Hefner could be this well protected and insulated, his legacy not be touched at all. Hugh Hefner did a smart thing. He died right after Dick Gregory died. He left out of here right after Dick Gregory left, because all those skeletons at Playboy, like I said, Bill Cosby met these folks at the Playboy Mansion. A lot of them. They had some underage girls at the Playboy Mansion. You talked to Judge Joe Brown. He went to Playboy Mansion. Judge Joe Brown. He got some barbecue sauce. But I think that's enough. I think I talked about what I want to talk about. I think, let me look at the comments and see. Do you see what I see? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they'll use black folks to get the other black people. Like I said, before the FBI had to get black agents to get to Marcus Garvey. They couldn't send no white agents to the UNIA. See, Marcus Garvey couldn't barely tolerate light-skinned black folks. But I'm saying, so they had to get the black folks to get them. So they'll send your own before they'll send theirs to get you. Think about, Fred Hampton singing that Black Messiah thing. William O'Neill, he was a black dude, a young car thief that was sent and became one of Fred Hampton's trusted bodyguards. But he was like FBI asset. Same with Malcolm X, the bodyguard, his chief bodyguard, Eugene Roberts, was NYPD bossy, undercover. Set up Tupac Mama in the Panther 21, Eugene Roberts, right? So people get help, man. Learn what they doing. And may God bless Bill Cosby with long life. Him and his family, may he find the wherewithal to tell his story on his own terms, to fight the power and to be the power. And so, I mean, this stuff is weird. We need comics to be free. But here's the thing, though. There's a price to pay for freedom. There's a price to pay for freedom. Nothing's free in reality. But at the same time, it's more of us need to stand up and push back. Because the Joe Rogan thing is not about black people. It's like, you got to remember, I remember Don Imus, right? I used to watch Don Imus in the morning on MSNBC, like, years ago, maybe 15, 17 years ago. I used to look at Don Imus. The reason why I love watching Don Imus was because it gave you an idea about what white folks really thought about black people and about America. It gave you an idea about how the white mind works in America, what they actually think about. He's saying the stuff that they say behind closed doors. And I remember that thing with the Rutgers girls basketball team, right? Where him and his co-hosts were talking about the girls. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they played a game and lost or something. Then one of the co-hosts said, "Nappy-headed hoes." And then Don Imus said, "Nappy-headed hoes? Nappy-headed hoes?" He didn't say it first. The other guy said it first. Then he got in trouble, right? And I think they had to apologize, right? And Al Sharpton and I think Jesse and them, the usual suspects, got involved. But the thing about it was, they didn't care about them black girls. I mean, he might have said, "I'm sorry." It was the sponsors that made Imus apologize. I think the sponsors of his show, not because they were black women or black girls, whatever, black girl magic. It wasn't about them women. They didn't care. They could care less about the women. It's about the sponsors. The sponsors said, "Okay, we want you to apologize." It's about the money. Money talks. Everything else walks, right? And then they kicked Imus off of MSNBC, but he was able to appear, get back on somebody else's network. So white folks, when they punish their people, they don't counsel them. When white folks punish their people, they don't counsel. They just move them around. Like, when a business does bad business, a lot of times it may not go out of business. What do? They change their name. So it's never about what we think it is. Like with Joe Rogan, it's not about the N-word. It is about Joe Rogan's politics and who he lets on his platform to be able to speak. Because Joe Rogan reaches a lot. It's like Alex Jones. They all reach a lot of people. Joe Rogan reaches millions of people. And I actually do listen to Joe Rogan's show every blue moon. And he has a lot of great guests on his show. And Joe is actually knowledgeable on some of the stuff that his guests talk about. So Joe Rogan is well informed. And also he has brilliant guests on his show. He allows them to speak and talk about their point of view. It's a lot of good things. I recently saw the show he did with Oliver Stone last month. It's a very powerful show by Oliver Stone's JFK Revisited. And he was keeping up with Oliver Stone. Joe knew a lot of his stuff. He knew his stuff. He did his research. Remember, he had the guy on named Tom O'Neill that wrote the book about Charles Manson and how he actually was a product of the CIA and all this other stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in Joe Rogan's archive. And people get mad about the N-word and all this stuff. Lenny Bruce used to say that in his act to make a point. Dick Gregory autobiography is named the N-word. And I hate to use the N-word. I mean, I want to say the real word. And it is an interesting word. And I think people, to be honest with you, the word does not bother me like that. And I'm gonna do another, I might do another show. It's just like this weird thing about words, right? But the Joe Rogan stuff is not about the N-word. This is about him messing with the powers that be. This is about him messing around with big pharma money. It's not about us. Dick will always say that's white folks' business. We get all emotional and stuff and this stuff. People talking about Neil Young pulling this stuff off Spotify. Who sent Neil Young? What is he a product of? Why don't y'all check out Laurel Canyon, where all these rock musicians came out? Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Frank Zappa. All these. This was a white dude that did a book or two about Laurel Canyon, and it was a sound. I mean, look at Jim Morrison's father was an admiral involved in the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which led to us getting more involved in Vietnam. Stuff is a game, man. Quincy Jones, when he was like spilling all his tea a couple years back, he talked about how Ringo Starr was even playing drums on his own album. It was a jazz musician by some name. And the thing about it is, I mentioned something on artists. People would talk about how the artists sounded better in their recordings they did in live shows. Because guess what? The people that were playing on the albums were not probably the musicians that you thought they were. It probably was somebody else they hired, like some jazz musicians like Quincy Jones talking about playing for Ringo Starr and stuff. It wasn't actually them, but there's a thing called Operation Mockingbird. We know the CIA has been in control of our media for decades. Like I'm telling y'all stuff, y'all can look this up. I'm not gonna get on here and just try to look up everything and know every date. I kind of happen to know some dates and know some things, but Operation Mockingbird is when the CIA took over the media. They've been over the media for decades. Like you look at predictive programming, you look at The Simpsons, you look at South Park, you look at even Rick and Morty. these shows, I won't be surprised that some of these creators held an intelligence background, or they were recruited by U.S. intelligence to do certain. It's like the dude that created Family Guy and all them other shows. He said allegedly he supposed to be on that plane that left Boston for L.A. that was involved in September 11th. He said he overslept. There was stories about how Willie Brown and Condoleezza Rice and people that were VIP was told to stay out of the airports and off airplanes on 9/11. But Self, whatever his name, he was supposed to be on that plane that went from Boston to LA, but didn't make it to LA because it was hijacked. And he said he overslept. So I don't know. People make deals, man. People make deals. So I should interview Andrew White. I reached out to him months ago. He said he was busy at the moment. I mean, right now I'm not feeling an interviewing mood right now for a lot of things. I'm not feeling an interviewee right now. I just happened to hop on this. Today is my late maternal grandmother's birthday, Hattie Mae Taylor. She passed away back in May of '98, right before I graduated from high school. But just feeling very introspective and retrospective and reflective, whatever type. I'm just thinking about a lot of stuff right now, processing things. Want to figure out where I want to go, how I'm moving forward with my life. And like I've been doing the podcasting thing for like 15 years, man. And I interviewed a lot of people, talk about a lot of different things, for better or for worse, pros and cons. And right now I'm in this different phase in my life. I ain't gonna call it no midlife crisis. It's a midlife opportunity. I'm just trying to figure some things out moving forward. And a lot of times I don't want to do a lot of talking to people or listen to folks talk all the time. Because I'm actually doing stuff out here in the real world, like activist, grassroots, institution building stuff. But I do feel like there's a need to have some type of balance. And so I will offer my perspective every now and then. And I will interview people again one day soon, but not today. And not always the people y'all think I should interview either. Because there's so many people out here with interesting perspectives and ideas about things, including you all. And I want y'all to encourage y'all to keep on amplifying y'all voices and messages and getting it out there to the people, because it's very important. Because I know I didn't know who be listening to me. I was on some dating app, and dating is interesting. But some girl, she matched me, and she said something to the effect like, "How you doing? Will you be? Will you be?" or something like that. And she was trying to we all be. I said, "What you know about We All Be, Willis?" She said, "Well, I've been listening to you for a long time. I listen to you and Judge Joe Brown." So she saw me on the dating app and matched me, whatever. I don't know, man. People, and like that's another thing about relationships and stuff like that, and dealing with each other as men and women. That's another story altogether. We are supposed to be connected with Sparkle. If you're out there, Sparkle, you want to do a series about relationships. I don't know if I'm really qualified for that, but I'm open to having people come on and talk about their relationship experience and stuff like that, and doing those shows. But I feel like I owed y'all a show, what I'm saying? Like dealing with the Omarion and the Howlin' Oats and all that stuff. I'm getting back and I'm getting a lot of energy now. And I'm getting inspired. My sleeping is off, bro. But I got a lot of energy for some reason, which is weird. But and I'm feeling creative right now, more so than I have in a long time. So that's it. I think I talked enough. Or I could tell y'all, okay, right quick, Kamau Bell, read his little backstory. So you know who he come from. This dude is a character, man. It's a character, but they'll use him up like they do everybody. And he'll be coming back, crawling to the black community. I'm sorry, black people be doing what old girl Dame Dash cousin Stacy Dash. I'm sorry, black people, please. Oh Lord Jesus. Do. Doing that number. Let me read his background right quick and I'll get out of here. Yeah, but Dr. Todd Boy, he's a joke, man. Like he wants, top down on people with doctorates in education. I don't know. I can't name nothing he done besides run his mouth on these documentaries and eating good that he contributed to the black society or black investment. Let me see. Give our boy his time. Kamau, Bill. I got some more shows coming up, though. I got some interesting stuff I want to share with y'all for Black History Month. Put Kamau Bill up here. They put that boy up here. Yeah, boy, go. Woo-hoo. What happened to that boy? Hey, go about Kamau Bill. Let's talk about Kamau Bill. Let's talk about you and me. Scandalous. Okay. Let's talk about Kamau. I don't think I'm saying his name right, but does it make a difference? He was born January 26, 1973. Known professionally as W. Kamau Bell, is an American stand-up comic and television host. He has hosted the CNN series United Shades of America since 2016 and hosted FXX television series Totally Biased with W. Kamau Bell from 2012 to 2013. He is the host of the live radio show and podcast Kamau Right Now on KLW, and also co-host the podcast Denzel Washington is the greatest actor of all time, period, with Kevin Avery, and Politically Reactive with Hari Kondabolu. Kondabolu. I think that's what I do. How do you say your name? Kondabolu? Shakazulu? I'm just joking, y'all. Don't cancel me, people. Bell was born in Palo Alto, California, and grew up in Alabama, Boston, and Chicago. He is the only child of Walter Bell, who served as Alabama's insurance commissioner and chairman of Swiss Re America Holding Corporation, and author Janet Cheatham Bell, who founded a self-publishing firm. Between ages 5 and 12, Bell lived in Boston, Massachusetts, in the Mattapan neighborhood of the city. Bell graduated from the University of Chicago Laboratory Schools and attended the University of Pennsylvania before dropping out. Later, he began to pursue a career in comedy. He is a first cousin, once removed, a speculative fiction writer, N.K. Jemisin. So he got a unique bloodline that's been established. I ain't gonna read all this stuff, but I want to talk about this implicit bias incident back in 2015. On January 26, 2015, that's his birthday, January 26. This happened in 2015. Bell and his wife, Melissa, were involved in an incident at the Elmwood Cafe in Berkeley, California, which Bell alleged was racially motivated. Bell reported online that an employee of the cafe told him to scram, or words to that effect, while he was talking to his white wife and her friends at one of his outdoor tables. He had approached the women from the outside casually dressed, e.g., wearing a knit cap, and the employee, a waitress, assumed he was selling something, which Bell took as code for homeless. The cafe owner fired the waitress, and with Bell held a community forum to discuss implicit bias and how to improve. Bell's account was eventually featured in an episode of the radio series This American Life entitled Birds and Bees. After April 2018 arrest of 2 black men at a Starbucks gained media attention, Bell renewed his criticism of the Elmwood Cafe. It closed soon after. The cafe reopened a month later with former manager and current co-owner Kara Heyman changing the name to Baker and Cummins. I tell y'all, don't go out of business, just change the name. And she said, Bell dated Melissa Hudson Bell, his white wife, started in 2003, and they married in 2009. They had 3 children. Bell underwent a vasectomy in May 2019. So you can't say that is his child. You are not the father. You are not the father. Interesting. So I don't want to read all his stuff, but that's our boy. He interesting, but he do look. You got to understand, Berkeley, right? You know, they got a homeless problem out there in San Francisco in the Bay. And the way he be looking on TV while his hair and all that, I can see how they could have mistaken him for a homeless person. You know, I mean, like, it's kind of strange, man. They'll use you and use you up, you know. But I'm glad that people are waking up about the whole situation. That's a good thing. So this is all for Brother Ron. I'm getting out of here. Thank y'all for taking time to hang out with Brother Ron. Thank y'all for those who have contributed their thoughts and ideas and perspectives in the chat room. I haven't read a lot of the chat room. I want to thank the moderators for moderating, for doing their thing. Thank anybody who donated and will donate. We love you madly. Thank you so much for the support. If you like the words from Brother Hurd, please spread the word. Subscribe, YouTube, We All BTV. That's one word. You can support the Artivist. You can cash out your support at $R2C2H2. You could Google Pay, and Zelle your support at R2C2H2 at gmail.com. You could Vimo your support at R2C2H2. You can buy Artivist art, R2C2H2. You can wear Artivist art. You know, just go below the description box and access our shelf to our official Teespring website. It got some interesting designs. And I'll have some more artwork available soon on t-shirts as well as on my website. Got to revamp my website and things of that nature. But I hope I made it clear, made it plain about how I felt about the Cosby Mockumentary and the shortcomings of said mockumentary. And when white folks praise it, it should be suspect. Especially when the deal was our story. And Dr. Cosby told me something on when I talked to him, and I'm just paraphrasing. He said, we got to be in the business of telling our stories, of preserving our stories and telling our stories. Because once you get to the Hollywood level, that's when you become invisible and they marginalize you. And he's talking from experience. So, but yet y'all believe everything they tell us about us. You know, ain't that weird that NASA allegedly had all these black women working behind the scenes, and we didn't know about that until a movie came out a couple years ago called Hidden Figures. They never made it part of the official narrative of NASA. You know, we knew about Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, but not Dr. Katherine Johnson until she almost dead. And y'all trust these people to tell y'all the truth about Dr. Bill Cosby and what really happened. These folks get Emmett Till and his mama medals. They've been dead for a while. Yet the woman who got Emmett Till killed, she's free as a bird. But yet Bill Cosby's the one. But yet there's more evidence to know that the woman lied on Emmett Till. She even admitted she was there that night, identified him. But yet with Cosby is hearsay and in the window, and I don't know, but it felt like I was penetrated. But yeah, I kept on coming back for favors and for stuff from Dr. Bill Cosby. But yet he raped me, but I kept on coming back for money and for, you know, go to concerts and dinner and a movie. But he raped me. Y'all think white folks care about the N-word, about Joe Rogan saying the N-word when they won't give you reparations? Y'all worry more about a word than about reparations? So what's the point of having white friends? And my thing about white people, and let me get this straight, all so-called white people are racist. And racism has nothing to do with hate. Y'all get it too. I'm talking about they are privileged ones. They the protected class. They privileged. They get the benefits of a system that denies you as a black person, a so-called person of color, a human being, reparations. They get the benefit of that. It's like that football coach, Brian Flores. I hear Negroes talking about he a snitch and all this. No, NFL is racist. It's a racist institute. It is. But the thing about it is, he know he blackballed. He ain't gonna get no job again. He just won't get that money because they don't take black coaches seriously in the NFL. They love to exploit black players, but they don't take black coaches seriously. We've been proven to be brilliant. We got, Tony Dungy. You got the brother Mike Tomlin. You got successful black coaches. Just like you got successful black quarterbacks, but yet they still hesitant to get black quarterbacks a lot of times. They still hesitant to hire black coaches, even though they got the pedigree to be excellent head coaches. But it is what it is. It's like, you look at football, Dez Bryant, the Cowboys, when they played against the Green Bay Packers, Dez Bryant caught that ball, but they said it wasn't caught. Then years later, they said, oh, yeah, he caught the ball. And the thing about, football is like life. Black people pay attention. Football is like life. It's like about when they're catching a ball, right? In order to officially catch a ball in football, in the NFL, you got to show that you not only caught the ball, you could catch the ball, not drop the ball, and it still not be a catch. That's crazy, ain't it? That's how white folks do us. We keep on thinking we know the rules, but we don't know the rules. How can you know the rules? How can you break rules you don't even know they exist? So, I mean, like, it's not a catch. You got to have control. You got to have 2 feet in. You got to take this many steps. That's how they do it, right? We know cha-cha slide, but we don't know what a catch is in the NFL. It's because it's different. So then what white folks get us on, they say, well, you're right in theory. Philosophically, you're right, but you're wrong because the law, just because something, how can I say this? A law is not always legal. If that make any sense, a law, just because something is law don't mean it's legal. Or it could be legal. Something could be a law, not be ethical. Because laws is not about ethics, it's about enforcement. It's about enforcement. Policemen are policy enforcers. Police policy. So it's like a lot of things we get twisted, we get very emotional about. Black folks, we're very passionate, very emotional people, and that means we could be very manipulated. And a lot of people have manipulated us, have utilized us as Trojan horses for their agenda. So I just want us to wake up before it's too late, and it's still time. But thank you all for listening to me. And I'm ranting and raving, but God bless you all. Like I said, it's my maternal grandmother's birthday. God bless her memory, Hattie Mae Taylor. I'm thinking about her all day. But God bless everybody. Y'all take care of yourselves. And if you want to support We All Be, y'all know how to do it, because we all be in it to win it. And knowing the great words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. One love.